Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're eagerly stepping back in time to explore a truly epic, historical rivalry. Long before the tech giants of Silicon Valley clashed over software ecosystems and smartphones, there was a brutal, high-stakes battle that set the absolute blueprint for modern technology wars.
Okay, let's dive into this. Does the best technology always win? We tend to naturally think that the superior invention just, rises to the top. But if you look at the history of the tech world, superior performance absolutely does not guarantee victory. Just look at some of these famous standard battles. We all know the QWERTY keyboard, right? It wasn't actually designed for speed. It was quite literally designed to slow typists down to stop mechanical keys from jamming. Yet, it won. Think of Betamax losing out to VHS, the failure of Philips DCC and Thomson's D2 Mac, the fierce DIVX versus DVD battle, or even Apple's early struggles to establish the Macintosh against the PC. To really understand why these incredible technologies lost and how standards are actually chosen, we have to look at a playbook that was written over a century ago.
Section 1. The Battle for Standards. To wrap our heads around this, we're diving into what is essentially a historical thriller. In the late 19th century, the transition away from the old iron, steam, and coal system sparked the very first modern standard war. And the economic stakes? They were practically immeasurable. Whoever controlled the production and distribution of this brand new form of energy, electricity, would literally control the future of the entire global economy.
Section 2. Edison ignites the market. Enter our first heavyweight contender, a visionary who saw the massive potential of bringing electricity into every single home, Thomas Edison. In 1878, he created the Edison Electric Light Company, backed by some major New York investors. His bold, almost unbelievable promise at the time was that he would rapidly illuminate the very heart of New York City. Let's trace Edison's early chronological steps to build this completely new industrial system from scratch. It took immense time and capital. By December 1879, his Menlo Park laboratory was finally illuminated with those early, fragile light bulbs. But Edison pushed forward, building factories, developing cables and fuses, until September 1882, when his very first central power station successfully lit up a New York business district.
Section 3. Westinghouse shocks the system.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the inciting incident. Every great thriller needs one, right? Just as Edison was gaining ground, a powerful rival entered the market with a completely different technological approach: George Westinghouse. Westinghouse was an industrialist who had already made his initial fortune creating safety systems for the railway industry. But in the spring of 1885, he shifted his focus, discovering the incredible, untapped potential of alternating current, or AC. Let's clearly contrast these two technologies, because it's super important. Edison's system used direct current, or DC. It operated at a low voltage, which meant it had a very short range. It fundamentally required dense urban areas to be profitable and used massive amounts of expensive copper wire. Westinghouse's alternating current, on the other hand, could be sent at extremely high voltages over long distances. This meant it could reach a significantly wider geographic area from just a single generator, a huge structural advantage. And just look at this number, 68, because Westinghouse's AC had that major advantage in reaching less dense populations. By late 1887, Westinghouse had already secured orders for 68 AC central stations. He was rapidly closing the gap on Edison, who proudly announced 121 stations around the same time. Section 4. The Dirty War. As you can imagine, Edison felt deeply threatened by this explosive rise. He wasn't about to just lose his grip on the future. So he launched an intense, guerrilla-style smear campaign to brand AC as inherently deadly. In 1888, he published an 84-page pamphlet simply titled Warning. To prove his point, he actively supported public electrocutions of animals just to demonstrate AC's supposed danger. He even ruthlessly lobbied to ensure Westinghouse's alternating current was used for the newly invented electric chair, trying to force legislation to ban high-voltage electricity altogether. But the battle wasn't just fought in the press. It was heavily waged on the legal and intellectual property battlefield. In 1885, Edison aggressively started suing anyone using incandescent lamps for patent infringement. Westinghouse counterattacked in 1886 by smartly purchasing older patents to defend himself. But, crucially, and this is a real game changer, while Edison remained rigid and uncompromising, Westinghouse flexibly licensed his AC technology to a direct rival, Thomson-Houston, for just $2 per horsepower. This brilliant move allowed the AC market to expand incredibly fast.
Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds. The final knockout blows came swiftly. In 1888, Nikola Tesla introduces a revolutionary AC motor, effectively completing the whole AC system. By 1892, the momentum was just unstoppable. There were nearly 1,000 AC stations compared to just 200 for Edison. The absolute climax hits in 1893 when Westinghouse dazzlingly powers the Chicago World's Fair. And by 1896, the massive Niagara Falls project successfully transmits AC power all the way to Buffalo. The war was definitively won.
Section 5. Why alternating current won.
So the crucial point is, if we pull back the curtain on this historical thriller, what were the actual underlying economic reasons for this victory? It comes down to network externalities. This is a powerful economic phenomenon where a technology becomes exponentially more useful as its user base grows. That drives down marginal costs and encourages the creation of complementary products. Westinghouse's long-range AC system perfectly capitalized on this. By easily connecting significantly more users to a single generator, he drove his costs way down and fundamentally accelerated mass adoption.
But there's also the sociological angle to consider, mobilizing key actors. See, Westinghouse didn't just have better technology, he built a far superior coalition. He integrated complementary innovations like Tesla's motor. He decisively won over the engineering community. He gained vocal, positive support from key publications like T.C. Martin at Electrical World. And he successfully navigated local political interests, partnering with local lighting companies who directly opposed Edison's bans. Edison, by contrast, ended up almost entirely isolated. Section 6. The Modern Tech Playbook. And this brilliantly illustrates how these 19th century events connect directly back to the business strategies shaping our world right now. It's the century-old strategy for tech dominance. Whether it's the modern war between DVD and DVX or the historic clash of AC versus DC, the playbook hasn't really changed in over 100 years. You have to manage intellectual property with strategic flexibility. You have to form alliances to rapidly build your install base. You must ensure the integration of complementary products, fiercely win the support of key industry actors, and above all, execute targeted, positive communication.
Which brings us to today. Look at the smartphone in your pocket right now. What unseen, brutal battles were fought behind closed doors, in courtrooms, and in the media to establish it as today's undisputed standard. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep your eyes open, because the next great standard war is absolutely happening right now.